Hello everyone and welcome to another video of mine. In today's video, we are taking a look at Uncharted 4, A Thief's End. Now, just a few days back, I made another video where I was talking about the Lost Legacy from the Legacy of Thieves collection. And today we are going to be taking a look at A Thief's End and the different modes available on this particular game. But before I get started, as always, I just want to clarify a few things that this is not a technical review. I'm not a technical person, so kindly do not expect a technical analysis of these games. Now, the footage of these games have been taken out straight from the consoles without any capture device, and the HDR setting had been turned off on the PlayStation 5 in this case. I would specifically like to point out that these games may look very different in person due to the different TV or monitor models we used and the HDR settings done on them. So in case you're wondering what's the point of making such videos, well, I'd like to share my personal opinion and also like to find out yours so that it can be shared in the comments section of my YouTube channel. And if we are in luck and if we do have technical people in the community, then they can share their 2 cents on the game through the comments section, and hopefully the entire community can benefit out of it. With that said, let's dive deep into this game and find out the different modes that are available. So let's get started, folks. Now, I have already spoken about the different modes that are available in the Legacy of Thieves collection while I was doing the Lost Legacy video. But just for the sake of this video, since this is on A Thief's End, I'm going to go through those modes again. So as you can see on screen, there's a Fidelity mode, there's a Performance mode, and there is also a Performance Plus mode. So let's talk about all these modes. So the Fidelity mode gives you 4K resolution at 30 FPS. The Performance mode gives you 1440p resolution, upscaled to 4K with 60 FPS. And then finally you have a Performance Plus mode, which gives you a staggering 120 FPS with a 1080p resolution. And as you can see, now, there is a big difference between the Fidelity mode especially and the Performance Plus mode when it comes to the resolution. If you are playing this on a 1080p monitor, it may not make much of a difference. But if you're playing this on a 4K television, then of course, even after the upscaling that happens on your 4K television, the Performance Plus mode, there are a lot of textures, which appear blurred, and it's just not right. And I'm going to talk about that in a short while as well. Now, between the Fidelity mode and the Performance mode, as you can see on screen as well, there is not a lot of sacrifices that the game makes to achieve the 60 FPS. So if I had to slow this footage down, you will get a perfect picture of what exactly do I mean by that. Now, resolution-wise, it's not a huge downgrade. It's only when you pixel peep, you're able to find out that difference. But boy, oh boy, the frame rates do matter. And as you can see in this footage as well, it's not choppy, it's not getting slow in any ways. There are no frame drops whatsoever in the Performance mode as well. And that is a silky smooth mode that you get to play this game on, which was earlier missing in the base PS4, and even the PlayStation 4 Pro version of it had this game running at 1440p at 30 FPS. So the Performance mode in this particular game is a superb mode that you can play this game on, whether it's A Thief's End or whether it's the Lost Legacy. Now, when you're running the Performance mode and the Performance Plus mode side by side, well, there aren't going to be a lot of differences that you may notice in terms of the frame rate, but in terms of the resolution, again, because the Performance mode is upscaling from a base 1440p, it makes a big difference to your eye when it comes to the resolution, because the Performance Plus mode is upscaling from 1080p if you're running this on a 4K television like I am. But the 120 Hz that you're getting on the Performance Plus mode, this video will not even be able to capture that, because the max that we can do on your YouTube videos is 60 FPS. So you probably are going to be watching this at 60 FPS, and it's not going to make much of a difference to your eye when it comes to these two different modes. Now, in person, what has my experience been? My experience in person has been that, well, although the Performance Plus mode definitely looks a tad smoother, it's not so much smoother that you would lean towards the Performance Plus mode. But hey, that's just me. That's me personally. And if you've seen any of my videos, you know that I always favor resolution over frame rates. And in this case, with the performance mode, I'm getting the best of both worlds. That means I'm getting a decent resolution, and to go along with that, I'm also getting 60 FPS. So between the performance and the performance plus mode, in this video, you may not be able to make out a lot of difference simply because of the fact that YouTube can only output in 60 FPS and not in 120 FPS. So even if I wanted to share this in 120 FPS, I would not be able to do that. But personally, let me give you my experience, not much of a difference. Now, if you move over to scenes like this where you're driving around, and in fact, I've slowed this footage down to half the speed, again, to highlight and talk about the smoothness that you get in the performance mode. Because as you can see in the fidelity mode, yes, it does look a little cinematic because, hey, movies at the end of the day, they are shot at 24 FPS. And even in movies, when you have these fast moving scenes, you have this kind of a motion blur going. So that's exactly what is happening in the fidelity mode. It does give you that cinematic kind of a feel. The performance mode, on the other hand, is silky smooth. So 60 FPS, if you know it, most of our mobile cameras can also do 60 FPS. If you have an iPhone, then yes, you can record in 60 FPS. And for cinematic shots, or for, you can say, movies, 60 FPS is not really the preferred frame rate. So why am I talking about that? It's because if you talk about games like this, with a lot of cinematics, with a lot of cutscenes, then I don't think it really matters much, all right? The reason why I'm saying that is because, hey, if you are able to get the 60 FPS, then why not? I mean, there's nothing to complain about here because you're getting both a decent resolution of 1440p and the 60 FPS. So in that case, yes, the performance mode is definitely great, but you're not missing out on a lot with the fidelity mode because that's native 4K that you're now getting on the game. Now, if you take a look at these games in, let's say, a zoomed in kind of an environment like this one here, if I zoom in 300%, then you can clearly make out on the performance plus mode, there is pixelation, there are jaggies, like jagged edges. So you can make out a bit of aliasing or aliasing issues when it comes to the performance plus mode. The game does not have aliasing issues overall. And please don't get me wrong, you could say the normal mode, not zoomed in mode, that is, you won't be able to figure out the difference. But when you finally zoom in, that's when you can figure out the difference. And to your eye, even when you're sitting in front of your television, not looking at this footage. By the way, if you are taking a look at this video, I will highly recommend that you take a look at this video on a big screen. Do not watch this video on a mobile or on a tablet because it will just not do justice to the video. You will not be able to figure out the differences. You'll only be able to figure out the difference while you're watching this video on a big screen. And if you take a look at this particular screen between the fidelity mode and the performance plus mode, this is exactly what I was talking about. The performance mode has everything look a little hazy, everything is softer, and the textures don't look that great. So what you miss out on the performance plus mode, you gain in the performance mode because, like I was saying, there's not a lot that you're sacrificing when it comes to the textures, when it comes to the look of the, the overall objects, whether it's your grass, whether it's your rocks, or whether it's your trees and branches. In this particular case, there's not much that you're missing out on with the performance mode. So again, I would like to mention that is, in my personal opinion, the best mode that you can play both these games on, whether it's a Thieves or whether it's the Lost Legacy. And that's coming from a person who actually prefers resolution over frame rates, because again, it depends on how it's executed, right? And in this particular game, I can confidently say that they've done a fantastic job when it comes to the performance mode. No frame drops, no major sacrifices when it comes to the resolution, and it does an excellent job at showcasing what this game can actually do on your PlayStation 5. So I think the performance mode is definitely the mode that you should be playing this game on. And again, I would like to mention, if you want to watch this video again, if you've seen this on the mobile for the first time or on a tablet for the first time, I recommend that you go back and watch this on a big screen. With that said, it takes a lot of effort to make these kind of videos. So if you have liked this video, please do hit that like and subscribe button, and also that bell icon in case you want to get notified with all my latest videos. Now, with that said, it's a wrap for this one, and I will see you lovely folks in my next video. Until that time, I'll say take care, stay safe, happy gaming, and may God bless you all.